वनचारी यमुनातीरान् वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय प्रभुपदा 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 श्रील प्रभुपदा जय विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टावतार श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टावतार श्री श्रीमद श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की गंगामाई यमुनामाई की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की उपस्थित भक्त वृंद की Nitai God Premanande, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 18. The battle between Lord Boar and Hiranyaksh. Verse number 4. tvam naha sapatnair abhavāya bhṛto yoga-māyā hanty asurān parokṣa-jit tvam yoga-māyā-balam alpa-pauruṣaṁ saṁsthāpya mūḍha pramṛje suhṛc-chucaḥ tvam na sapatnair abhavāya bhṛto yoga-māyā hanty asurān parokṣa-jit tvam yoga-māyā-balam alpa-pauruṣaṁ saṁsthāpya mūḍha pramṛje suhṛt-śucaḥ tvam na sapatnair abhavāya bhṛto yoga-māyā hanty asurān parokṣa-jit tvām yoga-māyā-balam alpa-pauruṣaṁ saṁsthāpya mūḍha pramṛje suhṛt-śucaḥ sapatnair abhavāya bhṛto māyayā hanty asurān parokṣa-jit yoga-māyā-pauruṣaṁ saṁsthāpya mūḍha pramṛje suhṛc-chucaḥ. tvam na sapatnair abhavāya bhṛto. Yoga-māyā hanty tvam yoga-māyā-balam alpa-pauruṣaṁ. saṁsthāpya mūḍha pramṛje suhṛt-śucaḥ. tvam naha sapatnair abhavāya bhṛto. māyayā hanty asurān parokṣa-jit. alpa-pauruṣaṁ. saṁsthāpya mūḍha pramṛje suhṛt. Vaishnavis, tvam naha sapatnair abhavāya bhṛto. yoga-māyā hanty asurān parokṣa-jit. yoga-māyā-balam saṁsthāpya mūḍha pramṛje suhṛt. Word by word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tvam, you, naha, us, sapatnaih, by our enemies, abhavāya, for killing, kim, is it that, bhṛtaḥ, maintain, yaha, he who, māyayā, by deception, hanty, kills, asurān, the demons, parokṣa-jit, who conquered by remaining invisible. Tvām, you, yoga-māyā-balam, whose strength is bewildering power. Alpa-pauruṣaṁ, whose power is meager. Saṁsthāpya, after killing. Mūḍha, fool. Pramṛje, I shall wipe out. suhṛt-śucaḥ, the grief of my kinsmen. Translation. You rascal, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us, and you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. O fool, your power is only mystic. So today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you. Kindly repeat. You rascal, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us, and you have killed some demons by remaining invisible. O fool, your power is only mystic. So today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you. Purport. The demon used the word abhavāya, which means for killing. Sridhar Swami comments that this killing means liberating, or in other words, killing the process of continued birth and death. The Lord kills the process of birth and death and keeps himself invisible. The activities of the Lord's internal potency are inconceivable, but by a slight exhibition of this potency, the Lord, by His grace, can deliver one from these signs. Śucaḥ means miseries. The miseries of material existence can be extinguished by the Lord by His potential energy of internal yoga-māyā. In the Upanishads, Shvetashvar Upanishad 6.8, it is stated, parasya shaktir vividhaiva shruyate. The Lord is invisible to the eyes of the common man, but his energies act in various ways. When demons are in adversity, they think that God is hiding himself and is working by his mystic potency. They think that if they can find God, they can kill him just by seeing him. Hiranyaksha thought that way, and he challenged the Lord. You have done tremendous harm to our community, taking the part of the demigods, and you have killed our kinsmen in so many ways, always keeping yourself hidden. Now I see you face to face, and I am not going to let you go. I shall kill you and save my kinsmen from your mystic misdeeds. Not only are demons always anxious to kill God with words and philosophy, but they think that if one is materially powerful, he can kill God with materially fatal weapons. Demons like Kamsa, Ravana, and Hiranyakashipu thought themselves powerful enough to kill even God. Demons cannot understand that God, by his multifarious potencies, can work so wonderfully that he can be present everywhere and still remain in his eternal abode, Goloka Vrindavan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha namam vishnupadaya krishna prishtaya bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. All of you are heartily welcome in this morning today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. A very interesting pastime is going on right now. The battle is about to begin. Between whom? Hiranyaksha and Varahadev. Yes, Varahadev. And just like we see in modern times, before any battle happens, you are seeing WWE match or UFC or the boxing. There's a special event where both competitors come face to face and they hurl abuses towards each other and they, trigger each other by their strong words. And this is this moment, just about battle is about to start, and Hiranyaksha has seen Varahadev. Now often when we see Krishna today in the altar, what's the first thing that we do? We offer pranam and we offer prayers. But here it is very different that is happening. He has seen Varahadev for the first time. And now he is hurling such beautiful abuses, I would say. How beautiful. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that, why they are beautiful. He takes each word of these abuses and absolutely turn it around. For example, he says, the verse says, you have been nourished by our enemies to kill us. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, yes, the Lord is actually killing them. How? By killing their cycle of birth and death. And then he says, so today I shall enliven my kinsmen by killing you. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, yes, because he will be killed by Varahadev, and Lord is very merciful to anyone who is connected with his devotee. So therefore, his fighting will actually be enlivening to his relatives. So that's how the battle is about to begin, and it's like the drum rolls. Just before drum rolls, they are hurling abuses. And even in their abuses, they're following a particular etiquette. Normally, when we see a fight on a road, there's road rage. Both parties are speaking simultaneously. But here, the Lord is very patient for now. He is allowing his competitor to complete his abuses. Once he'll be through with whatever he has to say, and then Lord will reply back. And there is a purport to it that will come in subsequent verses. I'll not go there right now. But for today's discussion, I would focus on three parts. First, I would like to give a context about what is happening right now. Who is speaking this verse? Yeah. And Bhagavatam is usually very confusing because there's a story within a story, within a story, within a story. So originally, Bhagavatam is being spoken between Suta Goswami and the sages at Naimisharanya. And the Suta Goswami is reciting the story of what he heard in the assembly of Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. And in that story, what is happening? Who is having conversation? Vidur and Maitreya. Remember Vidur, he was detached, he leaves his palace, and then he meets Uddhava, and he is so moved by Uddhava's devotion, he surrenders to him. Although Uddhava is junior to him in terms of age and in terms of those positions. And Uddhava, he directs him towards Maitreya Muni out of his natural humility of the heart and etiquette. And then he goes to Maitreya Muni. And the third canto begins with, in the beginning, there's a conversation between Vidur and Maitreya Muni. So this pastime that we are reading right now is a part of that conversation. So Maitreya Muni Vidura have put forth some questions in front of Maitreya Muni. What are those questions? There are many, many questions. He starts with a broader question: how can a living entity be happy? Such a profound question. How can a living entity be happy? And then he goes on asking about the creation and about the time, and you already have covered all that. So in response to that, he is explaining the process of creation. And then he explains how Brahma creates. Now when Brahma creates, he produces his son, offsprings. So he produced 4 Kumaras, first of all. And he gave all of them instruction, go and populate the universe. But 4 Kumaras were very rebellious right from the start. They said, no sir, we won't do it. And Shastra says, a disciple is bound to follow the instruction of spiritual master. And there's only one instruction that he can avoid following. And that is, if Guru tells him, go and get married, and disciple has a right to say no. That's the only exception to the rule. Otherwise, he has to be obedient and he has to follow. But 4 Kumaras says no. And then he produced Manu, and he gave instruction to Manu, go and populate the universe. Manu was a very obedient son, and he says, yes, but where do I populate? There is no earth. He says, there is no earth. He just made the creation, and he sees, you see, Brahma will face challenges one after another during his creation. He finds there is no earth. Now he's wondering what to do. And then, amazingly, through his nostrils, Varahadev appeared. Right? And Varahadev, revives the earth from the lower planetary system. And then there is simultaneously another story of 4 Kumaras, how they were stopped at the gate, and then Jay and Vijay were cursed to come to this material world, and this is their first birth. They are born in Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So it's a convergence of this story right now. Right? Vidura asked the question, why there was a fight? And then he's explaining in those contexts. So because there is no earth and Manu is supposed to populate, Varadev appears to maintain the earth, and when he appears, there is a fight that is taking place between Hiranyaksha and Varadev right now. You see the deity of Varadev, you'll find many temples of Varadev in India. If you go to Mathura, there are a couple of temples of Varadev. In fact, one of the temple is believed to be established by Shatrughna, who was the brother of Lord Ram. And there's a community of Brahmana who's very dedicated to their Ishtadev is Varadev. Or if you go to Simhachalam, there's a deity of Varha Narsimha. And it is believed that when Prahlad Maharaj was thrown from the hills into the sea in an attempt to murder him, it is this deity, combined deity of Varha and Narsimha, who appeared to protect Prahlad. Similarly, there is a place in Madhya Pradesh, Iran. If you search on Wikipedia, E-R-A-N, you'll find such a beautiful historical deity of Varadev there. So there are many temples of Varadev. In our Navdeep Dham, which island is dedicated to Varadev? Koladev, Koladweep. So in Satyug, Varadev appeared there in response to prayers of a Brahmana, and he announced his further appearance as Lord Gauranga. And there is a temple, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur established Devanand Gaudiya Math, and they have a deity of Varadev. Have you taken darshan? Every year in Navdeep Parikrama, the Parikrama parties goes to that temple and they take darshan. We pray to Varadev there. So, this pastime is also very interesting in terms of what we have to offer to the world. See, one of the reflection of a Vaishnava is how to engage with the issues of modern times. And they go within their own tradition, they research their own Shastra, and they try to be a part of global discourse that is happening. For example, what are some of the hot top issues of this world in modern times? War. Yes, one is war. So as Vaishnavas, do we have something to offer about war? About these conversations about war that are happening? What are some of the other issues? Climate change, yeah? Environmental issues. So, do we have something? What is our unique contribution from our own tradition to the discourse of climate change that is happening? Right? And we see this vividly in this pastime. Why does Varadev appear? Yeah, to revive the earth. So we have something, you see, you analyze any avatara. Krishna comes in the form of, sometimes in the form of fish, sometimes in the form of tortoise, sometimes in the form of boar, sometimes in the form of half man, half lion. Even when he comes in the human form, let us say he came in the form of Lord Ram, where did he spend most of his life? He went to the forest. And who were his companions in his battle? Monkeys and the boars and a squirrel. When Krishna comes, where does he live? If you hear Krishna's pastimes, it is all about forest and the flowers and the monkeys and the cows, his Gopal. How is he addressing the issue of pollution when Yamuna was polluted? So do we have anything unique to offer in terms of environmental challenges? Does a devotee have anything to worry about environment? Do we engage with such issues, or they are too complicated, so better leave and just chant Hare Krishna? Or why to engage at all? Or why a devotee is even worried about climate change? Or how a devotee deals with climate change? Do you think as a devotee, there is any need to engage with environmental issues? Or anyway, this world is dukkhalayam. What we have to do? Let better chant Hare Krishna and try to run as fast as possible out of this material world. We have nothing to do. We are not maintainer, and Krishna is the maintainer. So why worry at all? The wars are happening. Yeah, it's dukkhalayam. So war is about to happen. And that's it. So therefore, chant Hare Krishna, go out of this material world. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that as a devotee we can offer to those discourses? I would say we have a lot to offer. And I would like to base some of the concepts about where in our own tradition, especially in relation to this pastime, why such issues, how we can engage with those issues as a devotee. You know, if you see specifically religions of eastern side, whether it's Hinduism means Vaishnavism, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, you'll find they're all root thoughts in Vedas. And there's one of the concept in Vedas, which is specifically from Rig Veda. That's the oldest book of philosophy known to the humankind. One of the concept of Rig Veda, philosophical concept, is called as Rita. So the philosophical thinkers, when they saw this cosmic manifestation and they saw everything is in order. You know, when a mango grows from a mango tree, not from any other tree. When they see the galaxies, the planets and the stars' traffic system is very organized, how the seasons are changing. So they saw everything is very organized. And as a soul, we are born into it. This creation was before us, and after I die, this creation continues to exist. This means a very fundamental philosophical principle that I am a small part of this universe. And this is very different from the conceptions that are in Abrahamic religion. They start God created human, and human are the enjoyers of this world. And if you see the Vedic tradition, the beginning starting point is very different. That if I am a part of this bigger cosmic manifestation, that means I have a role to play. And if there is a control, then there is a controller. But it begins with the concept of I am a part of this universe. And if I am a part, then the next it leads to the query of, then what is the role that I have to play in this universe? That brings us to the concept of dharma. What is the right thing to do? Right? You see the Mahabharata and Ramayana, they are very much discussion about dharma. What is the right thing to do? And one of the motivation of a person from Vedic culture is dharma. That we take care of environment not because when the glaciers will melt and there will be devastation, not from the space of fear, but from a space of dharma, because it is the right thing to do. And how does one discern what is the right thing to do? On a day-to-day basis. What is the right thing to do for me in my role today, in a particular situation? And you see, if you read the pastimes of Ramayana and Mahabharata, there are many, many stories which brings out this concept of dharma. Entire Mahabharata is actually discussion about dharma. In that context, if you read Bhagavad Gita and then see the final instruction of Krishna, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, Aham Tam, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, that's the epitome of all dharma. But before that, there has been a lot of discussion about how do I discern what is the right thing to do. And The basis of right thing to do of dharma is ahimsa. You do what is least violent thing, to be kind to each other. So the nothing that costs that we can be kind to each other. So that is the beginning point was Rita, that I am a part of this universe and I have a role to play. And it leads to dharma, about the fundamental principle of what is the right thing to do. And from dharma, it goes even further to the concept of seva and love. Because if there is dharma and right thing to do, and there is Rita, there is a huge cosmic manifestation order, then who is controlling that? And if there is a controller, what relationship do I have with that controller? Right? So, of course, this can become very philosophical concept. How do we implement it practically? And that is where avatars come to this modern, to this world. If we analyze any avatara, there can be multiple reasons of their appearance in this world. What are some of those reasons? Why Krishna comes in this world at all? Okay, to annihilate the miscreants. What else? To attract the fallen souls, okay? To protect the helpless devotees, yeah. Anything else? To restore dharma, yeah. And to associate with devotees, okay? Yeah, to associate with devotees. All of these are absolutely right answers. There's one more aspect to it. Yes. Out of his own sweet will, because he wants to come, okay, yeah. Out of his own sweet will. For his own pleasure, yeah, he comes in this world. And he also comes, if you see, usually he comes in which role? As in a role of Kshatriya. What is the role of Kshatriya? To restore justice, to restore the balance. When Mother Earth was overburdened by unwanted forces, what did Mother Earth do? She took a form of a cow and went to Brahma. And Brahma went to Vishnu. And then Vishnu was asked to appear. Please help in this scenario. So he came in the form of Krishna, and he came for a variety of reasons. And then he comes in the form of Ram, and he comes in form of various avatars. But one of the fundamental principles is to restore the harmony of this place. Few days back, we celebrated the incorporation day of ISKCON. And there are 7 purposes of ISKCON, as Srila Prabhupada gave to us. What's the first purpose of ISKCON that Prabhupada lists us? Just to know who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, okay? No, that was not the first purpose. But yeah, that's the essence. What is the first purpose of ISKCON? Yeah.
To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all people in techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world.
To achieve real unity and peace in the world. In the world. He's not saying just somehow or other get out from there. And we have got absolutely nothing to do with this world. Just chant Hare Krishna, exit this world. Whatever happens in this world is not our botheration. Krishna is there, he will take care, who cares? We'll just sit and chant bhajan and we'll go move out. That is also one of the possibilities. Multiple possibilities can exist at the same time, no doubt. But here we see Prabhupada is keen on propagating spiritual knowledge systematically to somehow or other bring peace and harmony in this world. He's very much engaging in that sense with this world. And when Krishna comes, he engages with this world to restore harmony and peace. So as a devotee, we can engage with such topics, and in fact, I would say that is a very profound and impactful way of preaching. When we can dig into our own Shastra, and there are, on one side there are Shastras, and on the other side there are issues of this modern world. There's a global discourse that is going on. There are some issues which everyone is talking about, everyone is concerned about. And if there is an intersection point of what our Shastras have to say and offer to the issues of this time, shall we say, that intersection point is the real, impact and the profound preaching, the place where profound preaching can take place. Do we have any historical example of that? If we see from the life of Srila Prabhupada, did he engage with any issues of his time? Yeah, issues of hip.
So
Yeah.
it's like a modern day rehabilitation center. So Prabhupada, in a way of rehab, he served Krishna consciousness. He gave them Krishna consciousness in a way of rehabilitation. So for the U.S. government, it's a kind of, that was a burning problem at that point of time, because they were a lot of expanding on health expenditures. That's why, that's the thing.
Yeah. And I recall when Srila Prabhupada was going to Chicago, on a plane, he read a magazine. And the title of this magazine was Crime. What and how to deal with it. What to do with it. Crime, what to do with it. That was the cover page. And Prabhupada immediately wrote to the commissioner of the place that we have something to offer to solution. And he fixed a meeting with commissioner, actually went, and they had a discussion. If you read the Science of Self-Realization book, that conversation is there. And Prabhupada is engaging with the issue of crime. He's engaging with the issue of, addiction, drug addiction. Many of his disciples were drug addicts. Many of his audience, not disciples, like the audience that came to Srila Prabhupada, they were dealing with drugs. There was an issue of war. The Vietnam War was happening, and Prabhupada engaged with it. And he specifically, repeatedly spoke about the peace formula. If we hear many of the analogies and examples and stories that Srila Prabhupada gives, he uses examples of his time. President Kennedy, he was shot in America, and Prabhupada brought that topic again and again. Even during his time, when Mahatma Gandhi was shot, he always wanted to engage with, leaders and influencers of the society. He wrote letter to Mahatma Gandhi, why he should retire and they both should preach Bhagavad Gita together. He wrote a letter to Mahatma Gandhi. He made 10 pointers when he had a meeting with Indira Gandhi. 10 things to communicate to her. So Prabhupada met government officials, he met musicians, he met sports persons, he met he met scholars, he met leaders of other faiths, and he very much engaged with the topics of the modern times. Right? But to engage with those topics in an intelligent way, and where we can offer something unique from our own tradition, we'll have to scrutinizingly study our Shastra. Right? If we don't study our Shastra, what will offer? Right? Then our offerings will not have a depth to it. Right? So, how do we engage with the topics of environmental and climate change, and whether do we take care of it or not, and if yes, then how? So on one level, yes, it's the right thing to do, but a devotee's motivation is even more profound than that, because Krishna loves this environment and he sees that Krishna is one with this environment, and that is why he takes care of this environment. And whatever beliefs we carry, it translates into our attitudes and practical action. There was a research done on Mother Yamuna, and in that research, it came out there are 3 categories of people. One category believed that no matter what, Yamuna cannot be polluted because Yamuna is transcendental. That was one thought process of a particular practitioners. Then there was another thought process of practitioners who felt that if we pollute Mother Yamuna, it is not that Yamuna is affected, but it is we who will be affected by that. That was another paradigm. Then there was a third type of practitioners who would see Mother Yamuna as their mother, and their attitude was, if we pollute Mother Yamuna, Mother Yamuna is our mother, and our mother is suffering, and she's suffering terribly. And because she is our mother, we take care of her. So out of these 3 different type of beliefs or thought processes, what do you think? Which category will be more sensitive in terms of taking care of Mother Yamuna? Yeah? Needless to say, that this third category. And that is how you will see in scriptures, everything has a face to it. See, if you want to harm anyone, or if you want to pollute anyone, or exploit anything, there is a certain process to it. Remove the face of that person, and to see that person as something impersonal. You know, the person who was in charge of concentration camps when there was a world war, from the side of Nazis, and he says one of the thinkings in terms of really torturing and killing Jews was give them a bad name, give dog a bad name and hang it. And that is why the entire philosophy of impersonalism can be so dangerous. Like until unless you depersonalize someone, you cannot exploit them. And therefore, one thing that Vedic literatures do again and again, everything is a person. Yamuna is a person. Ganga is a person. Giriraj is a person. Right? There's one pastime when Prachetas were executing austerities under the seawater. When they came out, what did they see? The entire earth was full of trees, and they started killing trees, right? What happened after that? Who came? Moon god came. And they offered his daughter. You see, what did he do? He established a relationship because moon is the one who takes care of trees. Now, it would be very difficult to offend one's father-in-law because they have a relationship now. So, if there is a face to everything, and if there is a relationship with that person, we will take care of that person. It would be very difficult to exploit that thing. So when in this entire pastime of Varahadev, he is restoring earth, he is taking care of what is happening on earth. And as devotees, we take care of earth because she is Bhumi Devi. She is consort of Lord Vishnu. And we have a relationship with, she is said to be mother. If she is a mother, I better take care of it, of her. Another reflection on this pastime, and one of the principle is the outer climate is governed by our internal climate. If we see the exploitation and the issues that are happening in the outer world, it's because there is some issue with the internal climate. And Arjuna asked these questions to Krishna. What is it that impels me to do something, even though I do not want to do it? And Krishna replied, it is by lust only. So lust, greed and anger, they are the driving force of, as long as there is lust, greed and anger inside, there is some issue with the climate inside, it will be affected on the outer world. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada wrote a couple of points. I'll just quickly go through them. The first point he mentions is in relation to abhavāya, the first point that comes in the word that comes in the first line. Tvam na sapatnair abhavāya kim bhṛto. What do we mean by abhavāya? For killing. So, Hiranyaksh is now accusing Lord Varahadev that you are nourished by our enemies for abhavāya, to kill us. But actually, Sridhar Swami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, killing means killing the cycle of birth and death. And Lord, even by his slight potency, exhibition of potency, he can deliver anyone and everyone. The Lord is invisible in the eyes of the common man, but his energies act in various ways. When demons are in adversity, they think that God is hiding himself and is working by his mystic potency. They think that if they can find God, they can kill him just by seeing him. So it's a very much thinking of the demons. As soon as they see God, they want to kill him by various ways and means. The similar thinking goes in today's world. They want to kill with, Prabhupada writes in the end, by philosophy and by words. Not only are demons always anxious to kill God with words and philosophy, but they think that if one is materially powerful, he can kill God with materially fatal weapons. So how does one kill God philosophically and through words? And we can find that in the pranam mantra of Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Taran. He is fighting with people who are trying to kill God by his words and philosophy. The philosophy of Nirvisheshvad and Shunyavad. Why Prabhupada would take every opportunity to engage with impersonal philosophy? Because that is atheism. It is covered atheism. And Shunyavad, that's bluntly atheism. So, those philosophies, those entire philosophies are ultimately meant somehow or other to kill Krishna. We can pray to Lord Varahadev just like he went into the depths of the ocean and bring Mother Earth up. Similarly, may he appear in our heart and our consciousness that again and again under the influence of mode of passion and ignorance goes down may He take up charge of our consciousness and bring it up again and again. Right? Varadev is is very much associated with yagyas and sacrifices. If we see in the previous chapters, I think it comes in chapter 13 of 3rd canto, where Brahma and all the sages and demigods are offering prayers. So they are saying to Varadev, your form is worshipable by performance of sacrifice. All the Vedic hymns, Gayatri and others are in touch of your skin. Your bodily hair is the kusha grass. So we see kusha, that is the bodily hair of Varadev. Your eyes is in your eyes is the clarified butter. In your 4 legs are the 4 kinds of fruitive activities. Your tongue is the plate of sacrifice. Your nostrils is another plate of sacrifice. In your belly is the eating plate of sacrifice. And another plate of sacrifice is the holes of your ears. In your mouth is the Brahma plate of sacrifice. Your throat is a plate of sacrifice known as Soma. And whatever you chew is known as Agnihotra. So like that, there are prayers and where Lord Varadev is associated with sacrifices. Whenever there's a yagya that's happening, first of all, we invite Yagya Varaha. We do the sthapna and we worship Yagya Varadev. Another thing, I'll conclude with this point, I found it very interesting, is Varadev is appearing from the nostrils of Brahma. Very interesting. Varadev is appearing. So, His Holiness Krishna Kshetra Swami Maharaj, once he was making this connection. The 4 Kumaras, how did they become devotees? When they smelled the fragrance of the tulsi from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So that was a connection. They smelled through their nose. And Varadev is appearing in relation to the pastime of 4 Kumaras from the nostrils of Brahma. And you see that Lord appears in tortoise, in fish, in all the other different forms. So, he's above speciesism, so as to say. Speciesism means that humans are at the top and the most important species. If you see, the legal system is based upon dignity of human life. But that is not the Vedic tradition. Because, of course, we discussed in very briefly, from bhṛta, there is another concept that is of Atma. And if there is an Atma, there is a concept of samdarshana. Everyone is a living spiritual spark. So Vedic system is based upon dignity of all living beings. And if this is the foundation, dignity of all living entities, how would this translate into legal systems and legal policies? When the rivers and the lions and the cows and the hens, everyone has their own right as well. What would a legal system look like with the philosophical foundation of dignity of all living entities, which is based upon samdarshana, which is based upon the concept of Atma, versus dignity of human life. Humans are most important and nothing else matters. When Krishna comes, he comes in various species. And in one sense, he's saying, humans are not everything. He's coming in so many different species. Right? So these were few of my thoughts based upon this context and purpose. I'll stop here, and if anyone has any questions, comments, corrections, most welcome. Would like to add anything? Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your wonderful class. So we understand Mother Earth, we have to do something for clear climate change. We have some duty. So we see long time as a devotee, we think the Mother Jamuna as a mother, Mother Ganga, but pollution is still there. But few days ago, when COVID-19 came, lockdown period, practically we see the Mother Jamuna water is distilled water, Mother Ganga. Why? Because our internal pollution, you told last grid, for grid we see every day from morning to night, we are running with cars, vehicles. So we stop for few days, practically we see the distilled water of Jamuna. So this is practical solution.
Yeah, humans are the troublemakers. And not humans, the internal climate, the lust, greed and anger, those tendencies. Of course, it's that exploitative tendency. You're very right, exactly. When COVID-19 happens, even if like see the Mother Nature, how they restores everything, even the tiniest invisible virus brought the entire humanity on its knees. What?
Animals comes from forest, the road, kangaroo,
Yeah.
so many things, without fear.
You analyze the story of any of, you see, Daksha Prajapati and the entire pastime happened and demigods are going to meet Lord Shiva. Before even they meet Lord Shiva, there's a detailed description about where is Lord Shiva residing. Why do you think that those descriptions are given? There's Kardam Muni's description. Where is Kardam Muni residing? There are so many verses about, to the extent that describing, in relation to Lord Shiva, the kind of, Bhagavatam is giving the names of all the trees and the flowers that are there. Why do you think Parikshit Maharaj is on deathbed? It's an urgent situation. Shukdev Goswami would have directly skipped that part and would have come to Lord Shiva. Why do you think there is a description of those places? Because we have a very intimate relation with the place where we are living. The place has an impact on us, and our own internal consciousness has an impact on the place. Right? Vrindavan, there's a detailed description of Vrindavan. Or when we do deity worship, we do Navdeep Dhyan and we do Vrindavan Dhyan. If we see the entire Vrindavan Dhyan, there are all such beautiful descriptions. Why those descriptions are there? These are not important. So, as a devotee, how do we engage with them? Do we have any moral obligation? Not just moral obligation, but in relation to Krishna, do we have anything to offer? So yeah, thank you, bro. Yes, bro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for this wonderful lecture. Although it's not a question, so the most striking point I like that you draw a conclusion. It's not a conclusion. You draw a point that impersonalism. If you want to, pollute anything, pollute someone, so you give it a impersonal notion to that person or that thing. And you mentioned the example of Nazi Germany concentration camp, and also you mentioned about Yamuna ji, Ganga ji. These are the persons. So our scriptures, they are mainly focus on giving a personalized aspect to anything which we are dealing with.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I like this point especially.
That's the sum and substance of our entire Krishna consciousness. Because they are person, to enter into a relationship with them. Krishna is not just a philosophy or a concept or a religion. Krishna is actually a person. And I can have a relationship with Krishna. And spirituality is all about it. That's the basis, having relationships. And relationships can exist only with persons. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. Nidai Gaur Premanjan. Hare Krishna.